I worked as a data scientist in 2025, and I believe things are really going to change in 2026. Are we still going to be talking about which model is the best? Well, sure, but that debate is going to matter way less than before, because if you work in the data space, the real shift will probably be about owning entire systems end to end. That's where the fun and the pain intersect, because with so many libraries and tools, training a machine learning model today is the easy part. But keeping it useful, actually delivering real value in the real world, that's the tricky part. And that is probably where the paychecks will come from. So in this video, I want to talk about three things. First, how data-related roles are changing. Second, what actually matters going forward. And third, how you can stay relevant without burning yourself out chasing every new tool out there. So let's dive in. The quiet shift in expectations. There is a subtle change happening in what companies expect from data scientists. It is not loud. No one sends you an email saying something like, well, by the way, your job is now different, but the signal is there. By 2026, the best data scientists won't just deliver insights. They will be accountable for outcomes, impact over artifact. Let's break down how different areas of data science are evolving. First, analytics-focused roles. Tools keep getting better, which means saying, hey, I made a nice dashboard is no longer impressive. Today, almost anyone can build a full-fledged dashboard with AI once the data is available, of course. So the bars have moved. Now it is about shaping business decisions. It is no longer just engagement drop because of this and that. Now it is about answering questions like, why did it drop? What happens if this continues? And what should we try next? As a data professional, you become less of a reporter and more of an strategist. Second, apply machine learning. There is still a strong demand here, but the emphasis is shifted towards people who can work end-to-end. From problem definition to model, to deployment, to monitoring, to iteration. And by 2026, the real interview questions may be something like, can you run this in production, stand behind it when it behaves strangely, and fix it when it breaks? And yes, we will have AI-powered coding assistants, but someone still needs to be responsible for the production systems. Accountability is going to matter more than ever. Product and business data science. And this path is becoming more strategic. It is about understanding how people use products, running experiments, and having the backbone to say, we should change this, and here is exactly why. Finally, pure research roles, they will be there. They will still exist, but they are still the exception rather than the norm. And the gap between research and industry work keeps widening, as only a few big companies are making the biggest leaps in AI these days, unfortunately. And that is neither good or bad, it is just reality. You should pick your lane intentionally. And if you want to work in R&D, just be aware that there is a huge competition for those roles, just like the same that happens in academia. The bigger shift will be from models to systems. It is not about saying, I built a model, it is about saying, I run a decision-making system and I maintain it, which means thinking beyond the code. In this kind of position, you will now be dealing with things like data pipeline, assumptions that constantly change, non-deterministic LLMs that behave very unpredictable, models that fails, monitoring real-world trade-off like latency and computing budget, reliability, security, and AI safety. And sometimes you will discover that the actual model was never the problem. The pipeline is really the the big deal here. Or the metrics that you use, or the expectations of the users, or the assumptions that those users will behave rationally, because they actually never do, and that's fine. So that's the job now, a blend of statistics, engineering, and business judgments, plus a small doses of humility. Here is some practical career advice for 2026 if you are working in the data space. First, optimize for ownership, no tools. Tools will keep changing, but your ability to own something end to end, that's what compounds. It can be small, but it should be real. I mean, ownership is the best teacher, and sometimes the most rewarding one. Number 2, get comfortable with things breaking, because they will. Data drift, metrics fall, assumptions crumble, and sometimes your very precious model is gonna get duplicated because top management decides to buy a SaaS product instead. Totally normal. The people who grow fastest are the ones who lean into failure analysis without any ego. What happened? What did I miss? What should I learn next? Curiosity beats defensiveness, always. Number 3, learn just enough engineering. You don't need to become a polyglot backend engineer who codes in Go, Rust, and Java, but you should understand pipelines, deployment, basic monitoring, and versioning. Knowing how the work actually ships to production is a massive edge in this domain. It will turn you from the data professional into the person who makes things happen. Number 4, translate your work into business impact. Accuracy is interesting as a metric, but business impact is persuasive. Outcomes sound like revenue, costs, risk, retention, experience. Those are the real outcomes, and if you can explain your work in that language, decision makers will stop seeing you as a technical support and start seeing you as a business partner. Number 5, don't chase titles, chase leverage. A big title without ownership, like senior data scientist or whatever, is just a shiny sticker. Real leverage is when your work actually shapes decisions and systems for as many users as possible. And that's where your career accelerates. So who struggles in 2026 in the data space? Not the people without the latest AI tools, those are everywhere, but the people who struggle are the ones who stop at analysis, who train the model and hand it over and say, well, my part is done. And the people who try, they stay curious when things get messy. They lean in when reality doesn't match the slide deck. They care about outcomes, not just models. And that is not data science fading away. That is data science growing up and becoming more valuable than ever. And honestly, I think there is still a lot of ground to cover in the data field, and I will do my best attempt to cover more about it in this channel. That's all for today. See you in the next one. Bye.